Comrade Chairman, our respected Politburo members, Comrade Suryakant Mishra, Comrade Bhiman Basu, former editor of Ganashakti, Comrade Narayan Datta, who has been a part of the paper for the last 52 years from the 3rd of January 1967 up to today. My very good friend from our SFI days, Comrade Devashish Chakravarti, respected leaders of the CPIM Central Committee and State Committee, respected leaders of the Left Front, distinguished dignitaries, the entire staff of Ganashakti, and my dear comrades and friends. I feel greatly honored to have been invited to the 52nd anniversary of Ganashakti, one of the premier left dailies not only in India but also in the world. I thank all of you profusely, and at the outset, I warmly congratulate Ganashakti on its 52nd birthday today. It had a glorious history of reflecting the equitable Bengal. Ganashakti has been resolutely carrying forward the democratic, secular, progressive and revolutionary social, cultural, literary and political traditions of Bengal. From Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Franta Bhattacharya, from Satyajit Ray to Rutvik Ghatak to Mrunal Sen, who just very recently left us, from anti-imperialist martyrs Khudiram Bose to Jatin Das to Preeti Lata Vaddedar, and of great revolutionary leaders from Comrade Muzaffar Ahmad to Comrade Jyoti Basu to Comrade Pramod Das Gupta to Comrade Hare Krishna Konar and thousands of others. It is a matter of pride that Ganashakti has been doing this relentlessly and fearlessly, combating the semi-fascist terror of the 70s, the emergency, and for the last 7 years, the barbaric repression of the TMC regime. It is a happy coincidence that Ganashakti shares its birthday with that of one of our great social reformers, Savitribai Phule of Maharashtra, also born on the 3rd of January, who along with Mahatma Jyotirao Phule started the first girls' school in India in 1848, in the same year in which Marx and Engels published the manifesto of the Communist Party. I take this opportunity to congratulate the extremely dedicated staff of Ganashakti for the magnificent work that they are doing. I also hail the sterling work put in to launch and expand the paper, put in by our earlier generations and by legendary founder editors and former editors, Comrade Saroj Mukherjee, Comrade Anil Bishwas and Comrade Dipin Ghosh. I wish our current editor, Comrade Avik Datta, a speedy recovery. In honor of Ganashakti, I am extremely happy to be able to give a very small contribution on behalf of the Maharashtra Rajya Kisan Sabha, rupees 10,000. I request Comrade Devashish to come forward and accept. Comrades and friends, in December 1939, 1.5 years before his death, to his friend Leonard M. Hurst. In that letter, Rabindranath writes, I am quoting, "It does not need a defeatist to feel deeply anxious about the future of millions who, with all their innate culture and their peaceful traditions, are being simultaneously subjected to hunger, disease, exploitation foreign and indigenous, and the seething discontents of communalism." Unquote. It is very significant, comrades, that Rabindranath wrote these lines in 1939, 4 years before the catastrophic Bengal famine of 1943, and 8 years before the communal holocaust of partition in 1947. You can understand Rabindranath's foresight in these matters. The situation of the peasantry in India 71 years after independence is not much better than it was in Rabindranath's time. In fact, in some aspects, it is decidedly worse. The first aspect is the question of farmers' suicides. Since the advent of neoliberal policies in agriculture that were begun in 1991 and carried forward by successive Congress and BJP governments, over 3 lakh debt-ridden farmers in India have been forced to commit suicide in the past 20 years. These figures come from the National Crime Records Bureau, which is under the Union Home Ministry. The present Modi-led BJP government is of course the worst culprit, and in the first 2 years of its tenure, farmer suicides in our country increased by over 42%. That is why the NCRB was directed to stop publishing figures of farmer suicides since the last 2 years. In West Bengal, the phenomenon of farmer suicides was unheard of in the years of left front rule. Ever since the TMC government came to power, 191 indebted farmers in the state have been forced to commit suicide to date. However, the Chief Minister of West Bengal today denies that even a single farmer has committed suicide due to indebtedness. The second aspect is the question of starvation deaths of children. Thousands of Adivasi children all over the country die every year due to malnutrition and starvation, a result of multiple factors such as landlessness and unemployment, as well as the breakdown of the public distribution system and the healthcare system. About 146,000 children from tribal communities die every year in our country, according to the Abhay Bang report submitted to the central government. Now, this malaise is spreading to Dalit children and also to women, partly due to the insistence on Aadhaar linkage and the biometric system. We saw the recent shocking case of Santoshi, an 11-year-old Dalit girl in Jharkhand who died of starvation, clinging to her mother and crying, "Bhat, Bhat, Ma." This we all saw last year. These two searing facts are enough to throw blinding light on the deepening agrarian crisis and agrarian distress in our country today. We are coming to the agrarian crisis and its roots. A very, very quick analysis. The CPIM program succinctly states that, I quote, "The agrarian question continues to be the foremost national question before the people of India. Its resolution requires revolutionary change, including radical and thoroughgoing land reforms that target abolition of landlordism, money-lender merchant exploitation, and caste and gender oppression in the countryside. The bankruptcy of the bourgeois landlord rule in India is nowhere more evident than in its failure to address, much less solve, the agrarian question in a progressive democratic way." This is the para from the CPIM party program of 2000, the updated program. To advance towards its aim of an agrarian revolution, the All India Kisan Sabha led a series of momentous and historic struggles in the 1940s. These struggles have been engraved in letters of gold in the annals of the peasant movement in India. As is well known, they include the struggles of Tebaga in Bengal, Punnapra Vailar and North Malabar in Kerala, Ganamukti Parishad in Tripura, Surma Valley in Assam, East Thanjavur in Tamil Nadu, and the Warli Adivasi struggle in the Thane district of Maharashtra. They were crowned by the glorious armed peasant uprising of Telangana. All these struggles were directed against feudalism in all its forms. With the slogan of "land to the tiller," they demanded the abolition of the zamindari system and advocated radical land reforms. They were fought with the land question as their central agenda. In the period after independence, the agrarian policies of successive Congress governments were aimed at transforming semi-feudal landlords into capitalist landlords and developing a stratum of rich peasants. They also led to and further intensified class differentiation in the peasantry. Land reforms were never earnestly carried out. The tenancy laws and the sealing laws that were enacted were full of loopholes and they were never sincerely implemented. It is no accident that after independence, it was only the left-led state governments headed by the CPIM in Kerala, West Bengal and Tripura that enacted legislation and carried out a program of substantial land reforms and redistribution of land to the landless. A large section of the beneficiaries of these land reforms were landless agricultural workers and poor peasants from the scheduled castes, scheduled tribes and the minorities. The ruling class path soon led to crisis and food insufficiency. It forced India to import large quantities of inferior PL 480 grain from the USA. The Green Revolution of the 1960s and 1970s helped to increase productivity and production and ushered in food self-sufficiency. But it was basically limited to only the irrigated areas of the country. However, as an integral part of the Green Revolution, two types of inequalities also increased. One, the inequality between regions, that is the irrigated on the one hand, unirrigated on the other. A big gap started developing, and also the inequality between peasants, between the rich peasants on the one hand and the middle and the poor peasants and the agricultural workers on the other. This path of capitalist development also led to a dead end by the late 1980s in most sectors. With the collapse of socialism in the Soviet Union and in Eastern Europe, and the resultant aggressiveness of imperialist globalization, the ruling classes of India succumbed to the neoliberal policies in the early 1990s. The neoliberal policies in the country, including in agriculture, were begun by the Congress central government in 1991 and were taken forward by every central government thenceforth. The 27th conference of the All India Kisan Sabha, held at Hisar in 1992, just 1 year after these policies began, there it tore apart the neoliberal policies and warned. What did the EIKS warn in 1992? It said the present policies of the union government will have a serious adverse impact on the peasantry. It will speed up pauperization of the poor, the small and middle peasants. The number of unemployed youth, both in the urban and the rural sites, will again rise to unprecedented heights. Unquote. The seminal presidential address of Comrade Harkishan Singh Surjit, who was the AIKS president at that time, at this conference elaborated on these and other aspects further. Significantly, the AIKS made this assessment of the neoliberal policies within a year when almost all other peasant organizations, with some exceptions, were supporting the new economic and agricultural policies of the government. The warnings of the Hisar conference were more than vindicated by agrarian developments over the last 25 years in India. In the neoliberal phase, the primitive accumulation of capital is ruining Indian agriculture and is assaulting the Indian peasantry. Land reforms have acquired a reverse meaning. It is no longer land to the tiller. It is now land to the corporates. That is the difference. And now what we see, this is glaringly seen in the policy of the special economic zones, the various proposed industrial corridors, and the attempt by the Modi-led BJP government at the very beginning of its tenure to ram through the hated land acquisition ordinance. This attempt was foiled by a combination of united peasant struggles on the ground and concerted opposition in the Rajya Sabha. Profit maximization is being sought by squeezing the peasantry through neoliberal agricultural policies, slashing of subsidies, and an open door to rapacious multinational corporations and corporates in the production of agricultural inputs, leading to massive increase in the cost of production. You can make out seeds, fertilizers, insecticides. You see their prices in the last 20 years because of the entire stranglehold of the Indian corporates and the multinational corporations in agriculture. Everything, all the prices have hit the roof. Consistent refusal to give remunerative prices for agricultural produce under pressure of foreign finance capital. A glut in agricultural imports that further ruin. You cannot get a proper price in the mandis of Calcutta, in the mandis of Birbhum, in the mandis of Bardwan. Now with these new policies, they used to tell us that now the farmer can sell his produce directly to the markets of London, Paris and New York. That is what they said. And what has happened after 25 years? With import liberalization, agricultural produce from the markets of New York, London and Paris is flooding the market in India. Your crops are not going there. Their crops are coming here at a cheap price because of the subsidies given by the imperialist countries to their multinational corporations. As a result, the price given to the Indian farmer is falling precipitately. This is what is happening under the neoliberal policies today. And therefore, a glut in agricultural imports that further ruin the peasantry, a slew of free trade agreements, crunch in farmer agricultural credit and siphoning it away to corporates. You'll be surprised, friends, in Maharashtra, economists have done a study in which they have said 51% of agricultural loans given to farmers in Maharashtra, 51% have been given to farmers in Mumbai. Have you seen a farmer in Mumbai? Have you seen a farmer in Mumbai? But 51% of the agricultural loan is given to farmers in Mumbai. And who are the farmers in Mumbai? Mukesh Ambani, Anil Ambani, Gautam Adani, Amitabh Bachchan. These are the farmers in Mumbai who are getting 51% of the agricultural loans from the banks, whereas the small and middle farmers are being left out of the loan package. This is what is happening everywhere. And therefore, thus increasing dependence of farmers on usurious private money lenders. A series of natural calamities like drought, floods, hailstorms, as well as attacks by pests and by wild animals. A bogus crop insurance scheme designed to benefit not farmers but corporate insurance companies. Savage cuts in public investment on and privatization of both irrigation and power, and whittling down all social welfare schemes relating to education, employment, health, food security and rural development. These are some of the main aspects of the neoliberal attacks on agriculture which are responsible for rising peasant indebtedness and alarming peasant suicides. This is, comrades, the analysis. Why is it happening? 3 lakh farmers, why only in the last 20-22 years? Because of indebtedness. This is what we should understand. The alternative agricultural policy document adopted by the All India Kisan Sabha and the All India Agricultural Workers Union in December 2003 broadly divided the post-independence period of capitalist development in agriculture into 2 phases. One, the state-sponsored phase from 1947 to 1990, and the liberalization, privatization, globalization, that is LPG phase from 1991 onwards up to the present. In the light of this, it outlined the 2 main rural contradictions in India as follows. I am quoting from the Alternative Agricultural Policy document, just 1 or 2 lines. It is clear that the present situation in Indian agriculture is characterized by 2 important contradictions. The first is the sharp division between the rural rich, comprising landlords, big capitalist farmers, large traders, money lenders and their allies on the one hand, and the mass of the peasantry comprising agricultural workers, poor and middle peasants and rural artisans on the other. This is the first contradiction. And the second one is the growing opposition to imperialist-driven LPG policies of the government, not only from the mass of the peasantry, but also from sections of the rural rich. This is the second contradiction. And therefore, these are both the contradictions which are at play in the rural countryside all over India today. The present BJP central government led by Narendra Modi has been the worst culprit in intensifying neoliberal policies in agriculture, industry and all the other sectors under imperialist dictates. It is implementing crony capitalism with a vengeance. BJP-led state governments have naturally followed suit. The current BJP regime led by Narendra Modi has betrayed every single promise of Achhe Din made to farmers by the election manifesto of 2014. For lack of time, we shall here just enumerate some of the major aspects and results of BJP rule over the last 4 years in bullet points. Intensified agrarian crisis and unabated peasant suicides. Rapid increase in landlessness and land inequality. Unprecedented land grab and dispossession of the peasantry. Attack on forest rights and loot of resources. Financial liberalization and indebtedness. Enamor for free trade and economic liberalism. Demonetization and GST attack on the peasantry. Demonetization has created, actually it has broken the back of the peasantry, of the unorganized workers all over the country. In fact, the Standing Committee of the Agricultural Ministry some few weeks ago actually declared a report which said that demonetization has finished off the peasantry as nothing else has done. After that report come, you must have seen it in the newspapers, immediately under the dictates of the Modi government, the report of the Standing Committee on Agriculture was withdrawn. This is what is happening. This is democracy for you. And therefore, this is one thing that we see. Corporatization of agriculture and contract farming, doubling farmers' woes instead of incomes, incessant fall in agricultural prices, acute human tragedy amidst drought, floods and government apathy, attack on Manrega and rural employment, increased vulnerability of women in agriculture. All of us should be aware that women actually perform 60% of the work in agriculture. But land is rarely on the name of the woman. It's always in the name of the man. And therefore, women are not treated as farmers, although they do 60% of the work in agriculture, plus the work in the house. I think this is a very important thing on which we have to be extremely sensitive about. Notification restricting cattle trade. Neglect of menace of wild animals and stray cattle. Climate change and compromise at the Paris summit. And of course, the grave authoritarian and communal attacks on democracy and secularism. These, in a nutshell, are the main aspects of Narendra Modi's policies in agriculture. I have not elaborated because there is no time to elaborate. But one, if you see, overall you will get an idea of what is happening. Two aspects of the Modi regime need to be underlined so far as the two cardinal demands of the peasantry today are concerned. Which are these two demands? One, freedom from debt. Second, remunerative prices. These are two of the major demands. There are many others, but these are two all over the country. Now, what has happened about these two demands? While consistently refusing to give any loan waiver to the crores of peasants of India, the Modi regime has written off loans of nearly rupees 4 lakh crores in the last 4 years to just 15 corporate houses. 4 lakh crores of loans have actually been officially written off to 15 corporate houses. Apart from that, the non-performing assets owed mostly by corporates to the banks, which means loans taken but never repaid, amount to a colossal sum of nearly rupees 12 lakh crores with interest. 4 lakh already written off. 12 lakh crores already taken by these corporates from the banks, not returned. Nothing is happening. Total comes to 16 lakh crores. The Modi regime turns a blind eye to this loot of the country. Crony corporates like Nirav Modi, Mehul Choksi, Vijay Mallaya and Lalit Modi have duped the banks of thousands of crores of rupees and have fled the country. Nothing has been done to bring them back and put them where they belong, in jail. This is the situation today. And if a farmer cannot repay 25,000 rupees of loan taken from a bank, the banks go after him with a vengeance, the cooperative societies go after him with a vengeance, the private money lenders go after him with a vengeance, and he is left with only two options. One, committing suicide. Number two, selling off whatever land he has. This is the situation today, comrades, in large parts of the country, including in Bengal also. And therefore, we have seen just 2 days ago, in one of his rare press interviews to one channel on New Year's Day, Prime Minister Narendra Modi made the thoroughly insensitive statement of equating farm loan waivers to lollipops. That's what he said. Farm loan waivers are nothing but lollipops. It is the aggressive pursuit of neoliberal policies, withdrawal of the state from investment in agriculture, accelerating of trade and financial liberalization, faulty import policies, as well as the disastrous demonetization decision that has depressed farm incomes and pushed farmers into extreme indebtedness, leading to suicides and distressed sale of their land. In the 2014 general election, the second promise, one is the loan waiver, second is remunerative price. What happened about the second? Narendra Modi, in his 400 plus speeches across the country, had assured farmers that if elected, he would implement price MSP of all crops at 1.5 times the cost of production. That formula is called C2 plus 50%, which had been given by Dr. Swaminathan, whom, as you know, one of the foremost agricultural scientists of India and one of the fathers of the Green Revolution in our country. So he had given this formula in his Swaminathan report of the National Commission on Farmers. If you want to do this, you have to give them the complete cost of production plus 50% profit. Only then the central government has to do this, and after doing this, it has to implement a machinery to be able to buy crops at that price. This is what the Swaminathan Commission had told the central government as one of its first recommendations. The BJP gave the same assurance in its election manifesto. However, in February 2015, just a few months after coming to power, the same government gave an affidavit in the Supreme Court that it was unable to give this price to farmers since it would, what they said to the Supreme Court, it would distort the market. So when you gave the assurance in 2014, you did not think about distorting the market. When you came to power, now you are saying that it will distort the market, and that is the affidavit they gave to the Supreme Court. As a result of rising peasant discontent, in this year's budget and later, while declaring MSP for Kharif and Rabi crops, it announced that it had implemented its promise. That you must have heard. This was a complete hoax, as the All India Kisan Sabha has proved with facts and figures. I will give you only one example from West Bengal, which all of you are familiar with. Let us take just one example of the staple crop of Bengal, paddy or dhan. As per the Swaminathan Commission formula of C2 plus 50%, the MSP for paddy should have been rupees 2,340 per quintal. Just remember these figures. C2 plus 50, that is full cost of production, 50% profit. It should have been how much? 2,340 plus quintal. Now, the Modi government announced it as per its formula. That's a technical term. I'm not taking time to explain it. It's just called A2 plus FL. That is family labor plus whatever cost, etc. But not including the entire cost. Modi government declared MSP for paddy 1,750 per quintal. How much is the difference between the Swaminathan price and the Modi price? 590 rupees per quintal, less the Modi price. And the Mamta state government, very generous government. How much did they give as a addition? They said transport charges we are going to give over and above 1750. And how much did she give? 20 rupees per quintal only. 20 rupees per quintal. Mamta Banerjee, her government. How much does it come? 1750 plus 20, 1770 plus quintal. But the real tragedy comes after that. And what is that tragedy? How much do the farmers actually get in Bengal for their paddy? Despite all these figures, they get only about rupees 1100 to rupees 1300 per quintal, which does not even cover their cost of production. Leave aside 50% profit. That is like asking for the moon in Modi's and Mamta's Raj. Leave aside all that. You are getting not even your entire cost of production. 1100 to 1300 per quintal. And not only this, whom are they selling this paddy to? They are selling it to the middlemen, to the dalals. They are the ones, and they are holding, and they are getting all the super profits, not only in paddy, but also in every single crop. And that is why they are making the massive profits, because, again the point you must understand, there is no government procurement machinery by the center. Nothing is being held by the state also. And therefore, the same is the case, exactly the same. I am not going into detail because there is lack of time, with potato and juice and jute in West Bengal, another two very major crops. Same thing, potato is fallen, jute has fallen, and with all other crops in the country. Everywhere it's the same picture. Comrades, I'm going to the next thing. The rising wave of peasant struggles in India. We have done the analysis very briefly. But how is the resistance building? That is very important. It is these anti-farmer policies of the Modi regime that have directly resulted in the constantly rising wave of peasant struggles in large parts of the country. In the struggle against the draconian land acquisition ordinance introduced by the Modi regime, the AIKS took the initiative in 2015 to bring several peasant and social organizations together to form a broad platform called the Bhumi Adhikar Andolan. Here it was the result of the state level agitations and Delhi rallies against the ordinance, and with the intervention by the left and other opposition parties in the Rajya Sabha led by Comrade Sitaram Yechuri. As a result of that intervention, this land acquisition ordinance had to be withdrawn by the Modi regime in August 2015. And this was a major victory for the peasantry of India. The Bhumi Adhikar Andolan and the AIKS have since taken up several land-related issues against forced land acquisition for the Mumbai-Ahmedabad bullet train, the Salem-Chennai Green Corridor, and the various industrial corridors and freight corridors proposals. It has also taken up the issues related to the killing of farmers by cow vigilantes in Rajasthan and other places. Even yesterday we saw another big attack in Alwar in Rajasthan by these RSS gundas. The AIKs took the independent initiative of organizing 4 nationwide jathas, culminating in an AIK's Delhi rally of several thousand peasants on their burning demands in November 2016. Continuously this has been going on. The AIKS has laid the foundation for a continuous struggle against the Modi regime's things. A large Delhi rally was also subsequently held by the All India Agricultural Workers Union. The All India Kisan Sangharsh Coordination Committee, which today has more than 200 farmers' organizations, was formed in June 2017 after the Mandsaur police firing in BJP-ruled Madhya Pradesh. which killed 6 farmers. It took up the 2 key issues of the vast mass of the peasantry of India today, namely loan waiver and remunerative prices. After a countrywide campaign, a massive 2-day Kisan Sansad of tens of thousands of farmers across the country, and also a novel Mahila Kisan Sansad was held at Parliament Street in New Delhi in November 2017. 2 bills for liberation from farm debt and for just remunerative prices were prepared and finalized after holding consultations with farmers in the states. It's a good thing that these bills were supported by leaders of 21 opposition parties in a special convention in New Delhi. These 21 parties, of course, included the CPIM, CPI, RSP, Forward Bloc, CPI ML Liberation. All the left parties were there naturally as part of the supporting parties. But they also included other secular parties, including the Congress, NCP, RJD, Samajwadi Party, Bahujan Samaj Party, DMK, TDP. All this whole spectrum came together to support this initiative of the AIKCC, that if these bills come before Parliament for discussion, we will support both these bills. That is a very important thing that we could achieve. The struggle spearheaded by the AIKs in Maharashtra and Rajasthan from 2016 to 2018 contributed to building up the resistance of the peasantry at the All India level. The 1 lakh strong 2-day AIKs-led Mahapadav in Nasik in March 2016, the 50,000 strong 2-day Adivasi Mahagherao at Wada in Palghar district of Maharashtra in October 2016, the united 11-day Maharashtra farmers strike in June 2017. For 11 days, farmers of Maharashtra did not get their milk, vegetable and fruits to the cities to sell. For 11 days it continued. They went into a loss. But doesn't matter. As a result of this, the BJP state government had to declare 34,000 crore loan waiver partial for the farmers of Maharashtra as a result of this 11-day united strike. When it was not implemented, when other demands were also not implemented, then in March 2018, the historic Kisan Long March of the Kisan Sabha in Maharashtra began from Nasik to Mumbai, nearly 200 kilometers. 40,000 farmers walked day and night and reached on the 12th of March in Mumbai, about which all of you are aware. But the important thing about that was that this thing, for the first time, I have been in the movement for the last 40 years. I am born and brought up in Mumbai. But 40 years where none of us have ever seen, when this Kisan March reached Mumbai, thousands of middle class, working class, students, youth, women, they all came there, and they all came and they actually not only greeted, but they gave food, they gave water, they gave biscuits, and in the most touching thing, I am very grateful to the comrade who gave 10,000 rupees to our Sakhubai for her medical treatment on behalf of the Kisan Sabha. I very, very profusely thank him. But we saw women walking barefoot on those tar roads full of sun. They were bleeding. And one of the things, I'll never forget 2 examples. One of these old women, Adivasi women, they were walking. Some nail went into her thing. Bleeding was there. We told her that please come and sit in the tempo. Please come and sit in the tempo, don't walk. We will get you treated, etc. What answer did she give? She gave the reply, I have come here to walk all the way from Nasik to Mumbai. That is my determination. I shall walk all the way. And then we asked her, why are you doing this? And the reply she gave was even more touching. She said, I am doing this because I don't want my children and grandchildren to have to walk like this for their demands. So these are some of the very, very interesting things about that Kisan Long March. And as you all know, we had that 10th standard final exam on the last day, and we decided that the students' exams must not be disturbed. Whole day we had walked for nearly 40 kilometers, and that day we again gave an appeal to the farmers that we cannot walk in the morning. If we walk in the morning, whole traffic in Mumbai will be disrupted. We must walk in the night once again and reach our final destination by dawn. We actually took a meeting of those 50,000 farmers just on the outskirts of Mumbai, placed it before them, our comrade J.P. Gavit, our former Kisan Sabha president, and I'll tell you another very, very inspiring moment. All the farmers, dead tired after 7 days of walking, but we told them we have no choice, otherwise we will not reach there. Who is ready to walk? Again, we just have food, rest for an hour, again we walk up to Mumbai the whole night, and I'll tell you 50,000 hands went up and they all walked throughout the night. The government had actually put 1,000 buses from there to take us over there. 1,000 buses. But we decided, after having walked for 175 kilometers, why should we take the favor of a BJP government? Why can't we do those last 25 kilometers alone on our own strength? And therefore, all of us, including the leadership of the Kisan Sabha, including the comrades, everybody walked for 7 days continuously, and that really created a tremendous kind of thing. And actually, that is what the students were not disturbed, and that is thing that created tremendous sympathy for the Kisan Long March. Thousands of middle class people came to Azad Maidan to say, really salute the whole farmers for having done this. So these are some of the experience that we got, and it is out of that experience that our renowned journalist P. Sainath got this idea. He was there on the last day with us, and he got the idea for the Delhi March to set up this nation for farmers. And in the Delhi March which followed, we saw that the middle class of Delhi, teachers, doctors, engineers, lawyers, professors, all of them came, students in large numbers. They came to support the Delhi March just as they came for the Mumbai March. So these are certain things, the important kind of connections established between the farmers and the entire middle class, working class, etc. That is a very important thing which was achieved. So here, comrades, I especially want to thank, warmly congratulate the peasantry of West Bengal for its massive Nabana rallies. We saw the kind of repression that the Mamata Banerjee government did, tear gas and all the other lathi charge, etc. The huge Singur to Raj Bhavan march by the AIKS and AIAWU in November 2018. And the Uttar Kanya Abhiyan and Siliguri march in North Bengal by both these organizations just a few days ago in December 2018. I would really like to congratulate all our Kisan Sabha and Agricultural Workers Union comrades in West Bengal. This has really inspired the entire country, not only West Bengal. Those images like the Kisan Long March in Maharashtra, your long march from Singur to Raj Bhavan, your Siliguri, they captured the imagination all over the country. And I was myself had the privilege of attending the Siliguri march, and I was very impressed by both its strength and its enthusiasm. The people's response to these struggles shows that the situation is gradually changing in Bengal for the better. We have to change it even more in the days ahead. The struggles in Rajasthan, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Jharkhand and elsewhere succeeded in wresting concessions from the BJP and Congress-led governments in these states. All these struggles also helped to carve out an important space for the AIKs in the United Peasant Movement. comrades, I am just one or two points and I am concluding. Running parallel to these peasant struggles were the series of working class struggles led by the CITU and other trade unions throughout the country. They included the two massive All India strikes on September 2nd in 2015 and 2016 and culminated in the huge 3-day sit-in struggle of lakhs of workers at Parliament Street in Delhi in November 2017. That was the working class struggle. Then we have three major struggles this year, All India struggles. I'm skipping the points because there is no time. I'm just mentioning 9th of August, Quit India Day. Mahatma Gandhi gave a call in 1942 to the British to quit India. This year, that is 2018, the AIKS, CITU, AIAWU gave a joint call. Let us have a jail bharo agitation all over India on all these issues. And 9th August 2018 was decided, 5.5 lakh peasants and workers in 23 states, 410 districts in India, more than 650 places, centers. They came on the roads. They courted arrest. And the government had no place in their jails to put 5.5 lakh people on that day. This is what, and for the last several years, such a big jail bharo countrywide agitation on the same day has never happened for the last several years. All these 5.5 lakh people, they raised the cry which was raised by Mahatma Gandhi 76 years ago. In a different context, we all gave the cry, Modi Sarkar, chale jao, Modi government, quit India. That was the call that was given on 9th of August all over the country by the worker and peasant movement. 5th of September, Mazdoor Kisan Sangharsh Rally in Delhi. More than 2 lakh people, they joined, and that was a tremendous, another very moving experience. Delhi was seen with red flags. All these three organizations, CITU, Kisan Sabha, Agricultural Workers Union, all three having red flags, all three having hammer and sickle. And that was the Nazara in Delhi on the 5th of September. One day before that, 4th of September, our strong women, drenching rain. I think all salute to the women who marched one day ahead. 5th of September, the rain gave us some mercy, so it did not this thing, and therefore that is what happened. The last thing that happened was 29th and 30th of November, just last month, Kisan Mukti March by more than 200 organizations. That was another huge thing that really led to a tremendous kind of thing as far as the entire country is concerned. Now the preparations are going on for the success of the All India strike by trade unions on January 8th and 9th, 2019, which will be fully supported in action by the peasantry of India. The AIKS, AIAWU, both of us have decided. CITU and all the other trade unions will mobilize workers, will mobilize employees. 2-day strike all over the country. But what shall the peasantry do? The peasantry will support it by trying to conduct a rural bandh all over India. Rasta Roko, Rail Roko all over the rural areas in India. And that is the final crux of worker-peasant unity about which Marx talked, about which Lenin talked. This is just a beginning. All these actions are just a beginning. They are not a fruition, and therefore we have to take this process much further ahead. Now the political angle of this. The rising wave of worker-peasant struggles had an important role in ensuring the welcome defeat of the BJP in its 3 strongholds in the Hindi heartland states of Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh last month, and also in the victory of 2 Kisan leaders of the CPIM in Rajasthan. So this happened. Nobody had thought that the BJP could lose. Rajasthan they had thought. But Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh, 15 years, BJP was losing at a stretch. Nobody thought, but they lost finally. One of the major reasons was this continuous farmer struggles all over the country and in those states also. The large-scale corruption in the Rafale deal also certainly became an issue. But the defeat of the BJP was brought about in spite of the rabidly communal campaign that it launched at Ayodhya on the Ram Mandir issue. All of you must be aware, Madhya Pradesh voting was on 28th November. Rajasthan, Telangana voting was on the 7th of December. And what do these people do? In Ayodhya, they keep the RSS and then the Shiv Sena also. They keep a big mobilization on 25th and 26th of November before the voting to create communal polarization in Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan and Telangana. But all this did not work out this time. All of us knew that, and therefore, in spite of this, the BJP lost. The three new Congress state governments were forced to declare a partial farm loan waiver within 2 days of assuming office, precisely as a result of the rising peasant movement. Within 2 days, they had to announce. You must all have read it. How? Why? Because of the peasant movement. And therefore, now the stage what we are saying is the 2019 Lok Sabha elections will be fought on several issues. But one of the main issues will be fought on is the farmers' distress. And on that, a lot of things are going to be decided. Now the stage is being set for the defeat of the RSS-BJP regime in the parliamentary elections that are due within a few months. The stage is also being set for a change in policies in favor of the working people and for the advance of the left and democratic forces in our country. Comrades, finally coming to West Bengal and the situation here. In West Bengal, we have seen for the last 7 years the thoroughly authoritarian and repressive rule of the TMC led by Mamata Banerjee. Nowhere was this more crystal clear than in the last Panchayat elections, in which the TMC won as many as 34% of the seats into inverted commas uncontested. How did it happen? The opposition candidates were physically prevented by TMC goons from filing their nominations. The elections themselves were marked by naked violence of the worst type. All of us remember, comrades, all of us remember that Comrade Jyoti Basu, one of our extremely outstanding stalwarts, used to dub the BJP as a barbaric party. Do you remember this? I remember. Barbaric party, that's what he used to say, and they used to get hopping mad at that. The very same adjective can be used today to describe the TMC as well. And therefore, in Bengal, the left and the democratic forces are fighting against two barbaric forces. The BJP RSS on the one hand, the TMC on the other. I pay my revolutionary homage to the hundreds of dedicated activists of the CPIM and the left who have been martyred at the hands of the TMC hoodlums in league with the police in the last 7 years. But this continuing repression and violence and terror are a sure indication that the TMC is gradually on a downslide and is slipping in its mass support. If it was not, why did it have to make 34% seats uncontested? Simple logic. If it was so confident, and therefore, this is a result of widespread corruption from top to bottom and the growing anti-people nature of its government policies. Peasants and agricultural workers are bearing the brunt of the policies of the Mamata-led TMC regime. The denial of just remunerative price to paddy, jute and potato growers has already been mentioned above. The serious situation of suicides of indebted peasants has also been referred to. A bankers committee of the state government has revealed that out of 72 lakh farmer households in West Bengal, only 9 lakh farmer households get the benefit of bank credit, and the rest have to depend on private money lenders who charge massive rates of interest. The Modi government recently decided to cancel the job cards of Manrega workers, claiming that many of them were bogus. The Mamata Banerjee government immediately implemented the Modi government decision in West Bengal. And what did they do? They cancelled the job cards of 14 lakh agricultural workers in one sweep of the hand. 14 lakh were just finished. Once you don't have job cards, you can't get a job. You can't get Manrega work. So the unity between Modi and Mamata is seen in such important things like what they are doing. That is one thing. And on the other hand, we see another thing. The land reform program, which was the centerpiece of the left front governments, continuously, right from the time of Hare Krishna Konar, United Front, Left Front, all that has been stopped by the Mamata regime. That is very clear. In some places, actually lands are being given back to the old landlords. This is happening today in West Bengal. Not only this, we are seeing TMC goons are ruling the roost, taking a commission cut in all social welfare schemes. Maybe old age pension, widow's pension, Manrega wages. In all of this, the TMC goons are taking their cuts like dalals. That is happening everywhere, and that is a point which is already being fought by our comrades all over the state. Not only this, Comrade Suryakant Mishra very correctly pointed out, although I could not totally understand the Bengali, this latest thing, 5,000 rupees SOP by Mamata Banerjee in the last 2 days to the farmers. That comrade has explained very well. I am not going into all those details. On the other hand, the BJP RSS are trying to extend their influence in West Bengal on the basis of their Hindutva communal card and the support of their central government. The BJP RSS government is today the foremost advocate of neoliberal policies. It is also a sworn enemy of democracy, secularism, social justice, and of the Indian Constitution itself. The RSS, we have said in our party program, is a fascistic organization taking inspiration from the likes of Hitler and Mussolini. This is what we must always understand. You see Golwalkar's writing, you see B.S. Munje going and meeting Mussolini. All these things are there on the record. We must understand the real nature of the RSS today. We have seen the terror campaign that the BJP RSS have launched against the CPIM and the left in Tripura. We have seen their communal drive in Kerala on the Sabrimala women's temple entry issue. But we have also seen the historic 55 lakh strong, 620 kilometers long women's wall from one end of Kerala to the other on New Year's Day 2 days ago. With their recent defeat in 3 Hindi states, the BJP RSS has been put on the defensive in the country, and it will be put on the defensive in West Bengal also. There is no doubt about this. Comrades, lastly, I want to congratulate the CPIM, all our mass fronts, the left front, the Bengal platform of mass organizations, all of whom have been in the forefront of the struggles of the people on their burning issues, and also in defense of democracy and secularism. Lakhs of people have been mobilized in West Bengal consistently in recent times, led by the left and democratic forces. I am extremely happy and proud that Ganashakti is playing a sterling role in this fight back, in the triple role that Lenin had assigned to a communist newspaper, that of agitator, propagandist, and organizer. I take this opportunity to warmly congratulate all of you on the stiff resistance against the Didi Giri of the TMC and the dadagiri of the BJP RSS that you are putting up here against all odds. We hail you for the perfect slogan that all of you have coined, and that slogan is Modi Hatao, Desh Bachao, Mamta Hatao, Bengal Bachao. I think that's a perfect slogan for the times, and that will surely catch the imagination of the people of West Bengal. We are all aware that it will be a long and protracted struggle strewn with sacrifice, but there is no doubt, comrades, that we shall overcome. There is no doubt that we shall overcome. I shall end with one of my very, very favorite, beautiful and inspiring couplet by the great communist poet Faiz Ahmad Faiz. It's in Hindi. It talks about hope. It talks about determination. It talks about confidence, and it talks about victory. These are the four things all of us need today, not only in West Bengal, all over the country. And what does he say, Faiz Ahmad Faiz? He says, यूं ही हमेशा उलझती रही जुल्म से खल्क. खल्क is people, जनता. यूं ही हमेशा उलझती रही जुल्म से खल्क. न उनकी रस्म नहीं है, न अपनी रीत नहीं. न उनकी रस्म नहीं है, न अपनी रीत नहीं. यूं ही हमेशा खिलाए है हमने आग में फूल. See the beautiful lines. This is how we have always made flowers blossom in a fire. यूं ही हमेशा खिलाए है हमने आग में फूल. And the last line is, न उनकी हार नहीं है, न अपनी जीत नहीं. Their defeat is also not new. Our victory is also not new. That is what Faiz Ahmad Faiz said. Thank you very much, comrades. Once again, a very happy 52nd birthday to Ganashakti. Inqilab Zindabad.